Back in 2019, Dragon Ball Super Broly was released. Before the movie came out, I expressed that I was actually kind of annoyed by this prospect. It seemed like a really lazy and obvious move to bring in fans of a character that I always felt was a bit overrated. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the original movie for what it was. I think that it had one of the more interesting plots of a DBZ film, but the character was always pretty underwritten and his motivation for hating Goku was painfully silly. Even for Dragon Ball, I found it kind of unbelievable. Most people like Broly because he's really powerful and that's it. That's mostly what there was to him. I never understood why he got 2 sequel movies and had such a huge following in the fandom. It's kind of similar to how people feel about Boba Fett. I never really got it, other than he looked cool. I guess it was the allure of the legendary Super Saiyan concept. I thought it was cool too, but not to the same extent. I have said before that I felt Broly represented the surface level appeal of Dragon Ball, and confirmed every assumption an outsider would have about the show. It's all a bunch of macho guys with muscles screaming and fighting constantly. Well, there is a lot of that, but there is much more to it, and I felt that Broly did not represent the best aspects of the franchise. However, much to my surprise, the 2019 film did something that I did not expect. It actually made me care about Broly. Really, I didn't think it was possible. Well, first of all, they took the time to really expand on his character, showing what he and his father went through. They were forced to try and survive on a hostile planet, with Paragus not really giving his son much real compassion. Broly's only real friendship was with this beast that tried to kill him constantly, basically his pet, and even with that creature, Paragus would not allow him to have an attachment. It also fixed one of the most obvious problems, directing Broly's anger at Vegeta and his father instead of Goku. This actually makes some sense as opposed to him being angry due to a baby Goku making him cry. More importantly though, we actually get different thoughts and emotions expressed from Broly. He's a more fully fleshed out person, not just a mindless killing machine. With his and Paragus' interaction with the other Saiyans, we actually got to see a bit more of Saiyan culture and their relation to Frieza's empire. It was very refreshing to see that Saiyans are not just warriors, that they do have other aspects of their society so they can function. They have pilots and scientists and other stuff. The film also fused the narrative with Bardock's story, which helped flesh out his character a bit more as well. We saw that not all Saiyans were bent on destruction and war, and that they weren't simply all evil. Bardock shows some sorrow for what he's done, and questions his people's service to Frieza. Originally this was just implied that the Saiyans didn't really like working for him, but some of them actually grew a conscience. It was also really nice to see that not everyone who worked for Frieza was completely evil too. Broly actually made friends with some Frieza soldiers. Mostly this movie just fleshed out more world building elements that we hadn't really seen before, and I always liked that in Dragon Ball. It was a really nice surprise. From a plot and character perspective, I think it's one of the best Dragon Ball movies we've gotten. I wonder if Broly will play an integral part in future arcs, or if this last real expansion into his character will be all we get. Super certainly has its issues, but this is a great example of some of the best things to come from it.